Where's my guy?
I hear that voice.
What's up, brother?
Bro? All right, man.
Don't let go. Don't let go.
I'll take an extra bit out.
Don't let go.
What's up, man? How are you?
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, good to finally meet you.
We're here in PA, we're here at your holding company. Can you take me through what your holding company has underneath it and how you have leveraged all these different companies to what your ultimate goal is?
We have 3 e-commerce companies. The first is Fanatics. It's the largest licensed sports company in the world. We operate the e-commerce businesses of the NFL shop, the NBA store, Major League Baseball store, NHL store, hundreds of individual colleges, dozens of individual soccer teams globally. It's about a $2.5 billion business. That's my first company. The second business, it's called the Rue Gilt Group. We own Rue La La and Gilt, and it's about a little bit less than $1 billion, mostly female-oriented off-price retailers, which is what we call a flash sale site. And so every day we create great boutiques where you can come and get a Burberry boutique one day, a Theory boutique another day. And the third business is called ShopRunner. It's really like Amazon Prime for everybody other than Amazon. So we have hundreds of merchants that have banded together to offer unlimited 2-day shipping to millions of consumers that direct their spending through their ShopRunner merchants. And so those are our 3 businesses.
Let me ask you a question. This is what fascinates me. You loved sports growing up, right?
I did.
Die hard?
So I love sports as a fan, but because I wasn't actually a great athlete, I probably didn't love them as much as maybe I could have. But the one thing I really loved actually was business, because it's the only thing I was good at.
But break it down a bit, because I know there's moments in there that we're going to hear right now that you may not even realize that a fan that is dying for a way to enter into this world is going to hear that you did something that's going to connect.
As an 8-year-old, I literally had 3 or 4 different businesses. I designed stationery, and I go sell the stationery door to door. So I had like a little catalog of stationery. I literally had the snow shoveling business where I would go sell the actual snow shoveling. I had 4 or 5 guys that were working for me, and that was like a great business. You know, you charge $20 for a driver, and your cost is probably $2. You know, it was,
Yeah.
So essentially you learned how to scale a business at 8 years old, because that's what you're doing, you're scaling.
I agree. So many people have great ideas, and they talk about them, they vacillate about them, but they don't actually go do it. I'd rather fail, fuck up, fail quick, and move on. In 2009, our company, you know, the financial crisis, we were kind of in the middle of it, and our stock had gone from $30 to $3. And because I never really made a lot of money before that happened, I was borrowing a lot of money against my stock. As the stock kept going down, I was getting tons of pressures from the bank to pay off these loans that I had. Except for the stock was going down so fast, I almost couldn't pay the loans off. And I got to a point where I was almost pushed out of my company, margined out of my company.
How did you save it?
I got the loan from about $40 million down to about $4 million. And I had one guy who I helped start his hedge fund. I invested $3 million with him. And I literally called him every day. And he'd say the same thing. Finally, I'm like, bro, like, I helped start your hedge fund. I'm going down. You've got to give me this fucking money back, period. And he's like, it's against, like, it's like against our policy, but I'm still going to do it for you because you're so unrelenting. I can't take your phone calls every day, and I don't want you to be pushed out of your company. And literally, like, he said no the first 50 times, but on 51 he said yes. And had I not got that $3 million back and paid off the bank loan, we probably wouldn't be sitting here today. And by the way, we sold the company for $2.4 billion a year.
It's incredible. All right, so let's go see this Fanatics office, man.
Let's do it.
So we were at your umbrella company in PA. We took a helicopter here. We are now in New York at your office here in Fanatics. So give me a real breakdown, Mike. Like, tell me what Fanatics does. Tell me where it came from. Tell me how you got involved.
Yeah, so Fanatics is the largest retailer in the world of licensed sports merchandise. So when you think about going either to the Fanatics.com website, or you go to the NFL shop, or the NBA store, or Major League Baseball online, or NHL store, or any of hundreds of individual different university sites, or global football teams like Manchester United or Real Madrid. When I started my early company, GSI Commerce, we had operated the 5 leagues e-commerce businesses. And when eBay acquired my company in 2011, they didn't want to own any businesses that owned inventory. And so I bought back multiple businesses from eBay, including Fanatics. Now, Fanatics in 2011, we just got done a $250 million year of annual revenue in business. And today the company is more than 10 times the size. So we've really transformed the company from what it was when we bought it in 2011, which was really kind of like a Zappos of licensed sports merchandise. It sold, a broad assortment of licensed sports merchandise that was commonly available throughout the country, the world, and through the internet. And today we've transformed it into a very different business.
Let me ask, so for some understanding or context, when you started in 1998, you said?
Yeah.
All right, 1998. What percentage of these stores or these kind of like these athletic apparel sites were doing e-commerce? Like how much of it was even part of their business at that point?
Yeah, so you're asking a great question because in 1999 when we started, I'd say maybe of the big retailers and big brands, maybe a third of them were online and 2/3 weren't.
So some didn't
and
even
the third that were
acknowledge it yet.
online maybe did 1% of the business. 5 years later, they were all online, but still doing a small percentage of their business. Now e-commerce has become a very meaningful portion of where people are buying their retail merchandise.
I mean, isn't it majority of it at this
It's
point?
about 20% of total revenue in America is from e-commerce. But
That's crazy.
I think what
It's
you're going to
still
say
that
to me is your house has an Amazon package show up every single day. And so
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the world that we live in, which is so many people buy on the internet on a daily basis to kind of live their life.
When did you recognize, take me through the moment when you're like, oh, I have the foresight that's the future?
At my old company, what GSI Commerce did is it operated most, if not all, aspects of big retailers and big brands' e-commerce businesses. So brands like Ralph Lauren or Burberry or Kate Spade or retailers like Toys R Us or Dick's Sporting Goods. And from that, what I gained was a huge appreciation that long-term I thought there were two companies that were going to kill everybody. And that was Amazon and Alibaba.
That's the truth now. So when did you, I mean, with the exception of killing you, they do kill everybody, right? So when was this that you were thinking this?
Yeah, so I think I did a presentation. We used to do a partner summit once a year to all of our big retailers and brands that we worked with at my old company. I remember back in like 2004, 2005, I put up a deck, I put up a slide, and the slide basically said that in 10 years, I thought the biggest retail in the world would be Amazon. And they, at that point, were still smaller than Target. So they were about a $50 billion company. People thought I was crazy. They're like,
They were still the book site to some
no, they
people.
were more than a book
No,
site.
but to the common
But-
person, I
but
think Amazon was that.
They certainly were nothing of what you see Amazon as of today. But I give so much appreciation, really, to Amazon and so much credit to Amazon for us building what we built at Fanatics, because we had such a belief in what they were doing that we knew if we didn't build a completely differentiated business, we'd have no chance to really have a great long-term company. So when I bought back Fanatics in 2011 from eBay, I said, I'm going to dramatically change the business model from what it was to kind of what it is today. The first thing we do is really invest in having all of the merchandise available that a fan could possibly want. The second thing we said is we could build a far better model if we started to verticalize the business. When you go to Fanatics as a consumer, you're seeing the broadest assortment of merchandise in the world. You're also seeing a lot of merchandise that you can't get from anybody else, and that gives us the differentiation that most companies and retailers don't have. Starting next year, everything within Major League Baseball and everything within the NFL under the Nike brand is made by us. Now, we do it all in Nike-approved factories. We work together with Nike on the design and development of the product, but that allows Nike to have this incredible partnership with the leagues from a marketing perspective,
Sure. So
and
that's
allows
the
us to
product that-
maximize how do we best satisfy the sports fan, because we wake up and go to bed obsessed with one thing. How do we best satisfy the sports fan every single day? And for our company that's gone from $250 million in 2011 to $2.5 or $2.6 billion this year, we're obsessed with how do we best satisfy the sports fan. It's all we think about. 100% of our revenue comes from licensed sports merchandise sales.
So a team wins a championship or a player gets drafted. Tell me how the process works.
When these superstars change teams, we have a huge bank of blank jerseys sitting in our different fulfillment centers. And then when a player would say, go to the Knicks or go to the Lakers or go to the Sixers, we're going to immediately print those blank jerseys for what player goes where and have them in the market right away. So a great example would be when LeBron James went to the Lakers last year, we had a large amount of Laker jerseys ready to be printed if he chose the Lakers, and we're immediately selling LeBron James Lakers jerseys.
So $2.5 billion company, and what's benchmarks now to get to what's
What's the
potential?
goal?
I think we believe this can be a $10 billion business over the next decade. There's massive growth in e-commerce ahead. Today, e-commerce may be 20% of retail. If you ask me where's it going to be in a decade, it might be 40% of retail. So just being part of e-commerce and having merchandise that fans desire, there's going to be great growth in e-commerce. That's number one. Number two, we've really concentrated our business up until this point primarily in North America and primarily in the professional sports leagues. For us, global represents an enormous opportunity, and college represents an enormous opportunity for us. So we're now going school by school, soccer team by soccer team, and acquiring rights, and we think that's an enormous opportunity.
It blows my mind how far sports goes every day. It's like you realize this opportunity with just how much people love sports, and look at this business.
Yeah,
It's insane,
sports
man.
brings communities together. It brings so many people together. And if you're here in a small, one of our 70 regional offices. If you went to one of our big fulfillment centers, one of our big offices, you saw just the breadth of what we do. I mean, it really,
amazing.
we touch so many fans, and to me, that's exciting.
Amazing, bro.
Hey, thanks,
I'll
man.
tell
It's
you,
fun. It's fun.
it is
hanging
fun
with you.
hanging with you, and I'll say it again, man. You have fun doing this, right? Like
Yeah.
it really, it puts a lot in perspective, man. It's fun hanging with you, bro.
Thank you.